Check, check, check. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, that means you're now tuned into chapter 95 of the Introverted Intuition podcast. My name is Jeff, a.k.a. the Petty Podcaster, a.k.a. the Ambitious Introvert. Got my boy with me, CR. Say what's up, yo.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your man CR908 representing Jump Out the Frame. GOTF, what's good?
Helena's on the way. It's Coco's birthday. Happy birthday, Coco.
Word, happy birthday to Coco. Bang you.
She probably, hopefully getting drunk in our honor right now. But we got a special guest with us tonight. Someone whose work was introduced to me through my ex-girlfriend. One of our rituals every week was watching Jesus and Mero. And I would always see a piece on every episode of that show that I was like, oh shit, that's fire. And then she would tell me, oh, that's the Peralta Project. And I'm like, what? What's that? So she explained it to me. It's a clothing brand. It's more than that, right? I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't familiar, so I did my research. And every time I would try to go get the piece that I saw on the show, it was sold out. And I just kept going back and just kept seeing pieces I was very interested in purchasing. And I got to thinking even more about the person behind these pieces. I feel like to create anything, you have to be somewhat of an interesting person, have an interesting story. So I was definitely interested in having this guest on tonight. So please introduce yourself to the people.
My name is M. Tony Peralta.
Thank you for coming, sir. What's your history with podcasting? Have you been on any podcasts? Do you listen to podcasts in your free time?
I do. I love podcasts. That's kind of, I listen to podcasts mostly kind of every day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I've been on podcasts before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love podcasts. I'm trying to start my own. It's been baby steps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty affordable studio, so maybe if you're interested in that in the future, you could do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look into it.
If you're into it.
So your podcast would probably be centered around fashion most likely, or?
No, it would be about the artist process.
The creative process.
Mm-hmm.
Like the trials and tribulations that come with that.
Yeah, just talking to different artists from different mediums about their process, how they go about it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely looking forward to that when it comes about.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm definitely interested in who you are as a person. I want to get into your art first. So you are from the Washington Heights?
Yeah, born and raised in Washington Heights, Dominican American.
And your parents are immigrants?
Yeah, from Dominican Republic. That's correct.
Cool. And so how did can you recall like your first artistic like interest as a kid?
Yeah, one of my early memories regarding art is getting in trouble in kindergarten class. It was the first day of school, and I was attracting too much attention to myself because I was trying to draw the teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
so that's literally like my earliest memory.
And I guess that memory kind of birthed into, as you got older, like more drawing and more painting, or any creating.
I mean, I've always been creative. I've always been a visual person. So in school, I would get bored a lot. So I would always be doodling in my notebook.
Would you say you were more into realism, or did you do more cartoonist?
More cartoon stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was lucky enough in elementary school, they would take us out of. I was in a special program that they would take me out of the class and other students from different classes and bring us to a library, and they would have us work on art.
That's so cool.
And did that love for art intensify as you got older, like through high school, college? Did you go to college for art in any way, or go to college at all?
No, it's a funny long story, but when I'm 44, so. I grew up in the 80s and was into graffiti and stuff like that. And almost everybody who was into art wanted to go to art and design high school. And I wanted to go to that school as well. Junior high school, I didn't have the grades. And I wound up going to my zone school, which is George Washington, G-Dubs, which was one of the worst high schools in the country at that time.
Wow.
And when I went, so I entered as a freshman in 1989, and it was I was depressed. So because I never wanted to go to that school, and I stopped drawing.
Wow.
Yeah. At that time, in 1989, when I entered that high school, I stopped drawing, and I even stopped playing basketball.
Are you serious?
Those are two things I really like to do.
just like off the strength of being in a place you weren't enjoying at all?
Yeah, because I hated the school even before I got there.
Man.
So to go to somewhere that I said, oh, I'm never going to G Dubs, because it was literally 3 blocks away from where I live, or 4, and it always had a bad reputation. My older siblings went there, and it had a bad reputation. So, and I really wanted to go to art and design. Either it was art and design or LaGuardia or maybe even fashion, but I didn't have the grades, and nobody told me that you could transfer. So you know, being like a chill, a son of an immigrant. My mom doesn't speak English,
It's
so
hard
there's
for them
certain
to know
things
the
that
system.
happen. Yeah, that you don't know the system.
I can relate.
I still have a copy of my my report card from junior high school. It's bloody.
Oh, wow.
It's all red.
Wow.
It's all red.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, how did you find like during that time of like hating that school? Like, were you focused on school at all? Like, what were you doing
Nah,
to
man.
decompress?
Yeah, because I was gonna say, if you stop playing basketball, you stop doing your art. What were you doing? Like,
So at that time, I was looking. So I've always separated school life and the block. So hanging out, being in the block, I had my friends that I grew up with. So, which is funny too, because my first name is Manuel, right? So in school, people knew me as Manuel or Manny, which most people called me Manny. They didn't know me as Tony. So that was a way for me to compartmentalize
I get what
that,
you're saying.
right? So, once I'm in the block, everything was cool. I mean, I wasn't necessarily drawing as much or playing ball as much, but I still had fun. That was in high school, so we was going to
Parties.
parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there was really great legendary parties back in those days. I used to dance a lot as well.
Yeah.
So it was like high school particular was a fog, like high school.
Yeah.
But outside of high school, everything was fine. Yeah.
I don't recall much of my high school now that I think about it. Like my high school experiences, I feel like I was just focused on school. Like I was kind of like a good student, I feel.
I can relate to a lot of what you went through because I'm Haitian, so we're on the same island, and my parents came from Haiti, so they didn't know a lot about the school system. And I'm also an artist, and in school I was drawing and painting.
Yeah.
I went through my depression my freshman year, and I stopped drawing. I started skateboarding, smoking weed, and hanging out with my boys because that was a immediate escape, and it was something to keep me out of the the mental space that I was in.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that.
Yeah, man.
What was there like a turning point that caused that shift you back into the direction of art? Was it?
Yeah, it was the autobiography of Malcolm X.
One of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah.
How did you come across that book?
My friend had went to a different school. He went to Manhattan Center, and he was obviously a lot, nerdy person. He was like a nerdy kid. You know what I'm saying? So he was into those kind of books. He would go to 125th, and like the Muslim dudes selling different books and shit like that. So he told me about. First of all, he was like, "Yo, Tony, we black, right?" Right. I was like 16, going on 17, and it was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. We're Dominican. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, but like we come from Africa and all this stuff, nonsense. And then, yeah, it was not nonsense, but it was like, at the time, I was like, whatever,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like we went to one of those. Actually, to Times Square, there was this guy selling these books, and I bought this book of Malcolm X speeches. It was almost like a pamphlet, and I read that really quick. And then when I was done with that, I went to the library and bought and took out the autobiography of Malcolm X in my high school.
Yeah.
And read the whole book and never returned it. And it's like there was a light switch that went off.
Was it Malcolm's message, his experiences that inspired you, or what was it?
Yeah, I think it was everything. I mean, one, just kind of like you related to him, especially the early years. I mean, I wasn't a street person, but people like that, know of that.
Yeah.
And also just like his discipline and just it was just he just seemed like this remarkable person.
He was extremely self-aware, and I feel like he was extremely critical of like every decision that he made up to like through every phase of his life.
Yeah.
And that's what I really loved about him. He was just extremely honest with himself and with his people at all times.
Yeah, he was definitely a conscious person, and he was aware of everything he was doing.
Yeah.
The good and the bad.
Yeah, and you know, and like I said, that turned the light switch for me, and everything changed after that.
And what was like that first change? Was it you got back into drawing or basketball first? Or?
No, what happened was I left the school.
Oh, you dropped out?
No, I found out that you could transfer. So this is like 3 years in.
Yeah. So you're in your junior year.
Junior year, 12 credits, and you need 42.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. I said, you know, I don't know. It must have been like the following week or whatever. It's like I found out you could transfer. I found out about this school called City Ass School down on Varick, and I transferred. That school was really cool. It was different. It was an alternative school, and then and what happened was I started to get into history. So I started reading more. I started getting into like our history, color and Caribbean history.
That's what I was gonna ask. Whose history?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I only did a semester at that at that school, at that high school, and then I took my GED. So I started taking GED classes and took the GED test, passed, and I wound up going along at a university, and I was a history major.
When you were making that decision to transfer, did you presented that to your parents, obviously, right? Or did you do it on your own? Oh,
it was
no.
on my own. Yeah.
You kind of had autonomy because parents who are from another country kind of leave it up to you to make these decisions.
Pretty much. Yeah,
because that's how it was for me.
Especially if and it's a single mom.
Yeah. Oh, see, so that's definitely I can understand that. Yeah.
From my perception of immigrant parents, I always imagine that situation specifically. Like I imagine, like because they worked so hard to get you here, I figured they would want you to do what they worked hard enough to get you into. So
I think it depends on their education too.
Yeah.
To be honest, right? Because like my parents came out here and they were young. My dad was 14 when he moved to this country. You know, he's a musician, so he didn't really go to college. You know, he was working.
Yeah.
He was making good money at the time. You know, you grew up back then. Like the times were different.
Wow.
You know, things were way more affordable. And you know, once the time switched, it's either you kept up or you didn't. Their financial education wasn't up there.
My mom's the choices you had in my house in my mom's house was either you went to school or you were working.
So as long as you were doing one of those
Sounds
two,
familiar.
you were good.
Yeah. You couldn't be home doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because there was never a consultation with her about it. She didn't. In reality, she kind of didn't know what was going on. It was easy kind of to manipulate.
Yeah.
In a way, to say the truth.
I've heard.
He's laughing because he knows what's up.
Because that must be like really like the thing. I wish I could relate to that struggle, but like from my perception of immigrant parents, like because I was born here and my family was born here, is like they just work so hard. They have like that strong work ethic, and that perseverance to get to where they want to be. So do you feel like that desire to just take your life into your own hands was like kind of transferred from your mother or in a way, or do you feel like you just naturally, instinctively had that in you?
I think kind of low key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something I figured out later on. You know, because my mom came here. I think she was in her 20s or something. And my mom and dad met here, but they were poor. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom had a third grade education. You know, and my father, I don't even know, but he lived in a house that it was like 5 or 6 of them in a small house next to a river, and if it rained really hard, the river would come inside of the house, and they would have to run out. You know what I'm saying? Because it would overflood. You know what I'm saying? So they come from those kind of situations.
Yeah.
You know, they worked really hard. So, you know, I kind of figure, you know, I think I got that. My mom was a hustler, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, as far as, look, I mean, just to be honest and be completely transparent, like, look, man, I grew up on welfare.
Yeah.
Right?
Own that.
But let me tell but my mom used to have a food truck. My mom used to make lunches for drug dealers. My mom, you know, like she was like, we grew up on welfare, but it wasn't like she was just doing it, like taking advantage of the system and like not doing anything. You know, my mom bought her family plot back. You know what I'm saying? You know, when my grandmother had to pawn like the family plot, my mother bought it back. You know, my mother built her house and like kind of like build a couple of businesses in the Dominican Republic based off of selling patelitos at Dominican parade. Like my mom used to know how to get money.
Did she do so much that you didn't even like realize you were poor? Like when you were young, like were you aware?
Yeah, to me, I was like, poor. You know, it's like when people like to like talk about like, oh, I came from the gutter and all this other stuff. It's like, look, man, I've seen kids that are barefoot, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And people that I never went to sleep hungry. So, you know, now when I was hungry, I used to have to like, you know, be creative and like find some certain things to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't, you know, out of all my friends that I grew up with, I was the only one that had a single mom. But to tell you the truth, I never felt bad for my circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like they always got the fly shit, the sneakers and stuff like that. But I didn't. You know, my mom would only buy the necessities. But I never saw myself as poor. You know, I never saw myself that way.
You probably didn't hold value into materialistic things.
I had, you know, I learned the value of the dollar.
Word.
So I learned, you know, so my mom would cut my hair, like give me money to cut my hair every 6 months. Right. So like when I was a kid, I always, like, if you look at the photos when I was a kid, I always had a busted haircut.
Okay. I'm about to say every twice a year.
Yo, for real.
Hey, yo.
So I had to learn how to give myself shape ups.
Damn.
With a big razor.
I feel that.
You know, all those things. Like I used to have to learn how to dress because my mom would buy like clothes by the pound.
Yeah.
Right, to send to the Dominican Republic to sell. Right. So when she would come with like those black garbage bags, I would rummage through that stuff and pick the stuff that I thought was fly.
Right.
You know, and I was like voted best dressed in junior high school
because you had the creativity to work with what you had.
Exactly.
And that vintage look, you made it work.
Exactly.
I could already tell what type of style you had.
I'm just speaking for myself. Like when I was younger, I always felt like I had to keep up and like have a certain image just to be accepted. Like you never had that, especially being from an immigrant family. Like people who are already here who, you know, had that access to a certain amount of money and whatever, and those that was fire and shit.
Nah, I don't think so. I think I didn't feel bad. I didn't care. I was a loner kind of person in school. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my friends and like, you know, like I think those pressures come from like being in a school setting. Because in back in the block, like my friends that I grew up with, we were from the same building and we were all kind of in the same boat as being like first generation and all going through the same thing. Now some of them were a lot more privileged than I was, but you know, like you go through like people just snap, like the snapping shit, like people just snap, like that was just what you did, you know. But I wasn't necessarily made fun of. I was like not for anything. I was kind of fly, and I knew how to dance.
Facts.
Like I knew how to dance.
You had swag, even though you didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You had swag.
Back then, if you could dance, I feel like you was the shit.
Yeah, like I knew exactly. Like you know, I knew how to dance. Like I knew how to break. I knew, and then in the '90s, I knew how to like dance salsa and all that the other shit. So it's just like you know how to, and I knew how to like I was artsy. Yeah, I was different. In a you know, I was like one of the only people like with a fucking afro like in high school and shit.
You still be dancing now?
Nah.
Oh, you can't.
I'll dance some Spanish music. That's about it.
Word.
Some bachata?
Yeah.
Of course.
You said something a little while ago about back then it was just snapping. Do you feel like back then compared to now, things have changed where either the kids are too sensitive or the bullying is too much?
I think the kids are too sensitive because, I mean, I remember the bullies back then were like for real, like dudes that were younger, like a dude, like if you were 6 years old, a 15-year-old would steal your chain.
No, yeah, that's true. Like,
Wow.
I feel like I caught the end. I grew up. I was born in '86, so I grew up in the South Bronx. So I feel like I caught the end of that. But I remember, like, growing up, bullying was a little bit more different. I felt like I had to worry about getting cut every day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like dudes were.
Like
There's a
that?
word that we use to call un abusador. That
Girls used to carry, little
Razors.
under their tongues. That was a real thing. I grew up in that era. Like, if you wore the wrong colors, you was in trouble, even as a kid.
It was a lot more aggressive, a lot more paranoia. Would you say? Would you guys say?
I don't want to say it was paranoia because it was real.
Oh, it was real. So, but like, yeah, okay.
Like, you know how today, like, when the media had did the knockout game,
yeah.
I feel like that was paranoia hysteria. Like, back then, if you wore red, you could have got sliced.
Did you never got attracted to like any gang life or anything like that? Like, were you around people who were in that life?
Nah, so again, because I'm older, in the '80s it was cruise. So I wasn't.
I missed a lot. I'm sorry. What borough are you from? Like,
I'm from Uptown, Washington Heights. So no, there was no. To tell you the truth, there was no. So what happened was in the '80s there was cruise. There was like it went from like dudes being b-boys to breakdancing, being into crews and doing graph, and in the '90s it was selling drugs. There was no gangs. You were just making money.
And did you?
So I never really fell into that. I didn't fall into that world because I was afraid of going to jail. But I was around. You know what I'm saying? Like I was around it. You know. So.
And when you weren't.
No. I was gonna say you probably have friends that were involved. So
yeah, like I mean, everybody sold drugs.
Everybody, it's the regular.
I mean, it was like there was different. It was a corporation, so there was different kind of jobs. You know what I'm saying? I think also the dudes from my block, like the drug dealers from my block, they knew me, and it was just like they didn't put me on because they didn't want to see me do that.
They believed in you.
Levels of respect.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, nah, like Tony, you don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, we will be playing ball. You know, like, I've been in the spots. When I learned how to cut hair, I used to cut, you know, 1 or 2 drug dealers' haircuts, you know, hair inside the spot and things like that. So, but, nah, I was afraid of going to jail.
I believe it. What was your mentality like going into college? Like, were you completely focused on graduating, getting that degree, or were you kind of still like on some shit where like, I don't know if I really.
I was
one foot in, one foot out type shit.
No, I was actually very intimidated because I didn't have the proper education. You know, I took my GED. I told you I only had 12 credits in high school.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was catching up. I just needed help. So I was really focused on I was focused. Yeah, I was really focused. I was part of this program called He Up, and that really helped me out a lot. Yeah, so no, I wasn't messing around.
That was like a mentorship program?
It was a program that gave you extra money, but you also had to go through this program in the summertime. Basically, like they will give you extra classes so you won't have to take a remedial math class.
I get what you're saying.
Dope.
You know, anything like that. And you had to stay in school for 5 years because so they want you to go full time, but they didn't want you to take. They just wanted you to take like the minimum of credits. Yeah,
I get it.
So that was super helpful for me. Yeah, because I wasn't the best student.
Growing up in New York back then and comparing it today, this public school system. Do you feel like back then they tried to give us, well, not give us, I don't think I was really, I feel like I caught the end of it. I caught the end of everything. Back then, I feel like they was more so giving you skills and an education compared to now. It's just, I don't even know if I could really call this an education the kids are really getting.
I don't even know. To tell you the truth, I'm sad for the kids, right? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know that a lot of the kids that come from the South Bronx and like Uptown, they don't seem to be prepared for anything. You know, at least back then there was like that art class and there was when I was in high school, there was a class. I learned how to type.
Yo, they're learning more off the phones than in their classrooms.
Yeah,
like the information is right there for them. Like they don't have to wait until Monday's class at 8 p.m.
But there's some kids that don't even know how to use the computer.
That's very true.
The computer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I went to Catholic school from probably kindergarten to 4th grade. But even when I went to public school, I remember them computer was like something they was pushing down our throats. Like I was in a computer class from 1st grade. I don't think I learned shit. I can't remember a goddamn thing from that school, but I was on a computer.
Right.
I do know that. But I do feel like back then, there was I remember home ec classes,
shop.
shop and stuff like that. Alfred E. Smith was like a whole auto mechanic school, big football fields and everything.
Yeah.
And all these big schools are just sitting there wasting away with 6 other schools in them.
Yeah.
I feel like it just defeats the purpose. I feel like New York is slowly, like, we're just losing in every way.
Wow.
And especially education. I just feel like kids don't get that real experience with school.
Yeah.
New York specifically, you think the world? I feel like the world.
So,
like,
when I
just in
said
general,
this with,
like-
with another friend, she came at me and said, oh, but American in general is just horrible education. I'm just like, okay, but let's start with New York first,
Yeah.
okay? Like, we can't compare ourselves to other country every time we have every discussion. Because that's the case. We're at the bottom of the bottom, except for Olympic time, okay? We bring gold home every year.
yeah.
But other than that, like, if you want to compare us to the whole world, like, we probably, like, bottom 5.
New York?
No, not New York, America as a
America.
whole.
Okay.
But I feel like New York education, like there is other Kentucky, Louisville, in certain areas. I know their education system is horrible too.
Yeah, in the rural areas, I've heard people say that it's a lot slower out there. It's a lot, yeah.
How did you push through that feeling of like keeping up, right? Like, because I feel like you're probably surrounded by people who, maybe they had a better education than you. Like, did that, like,
Well, when I was in college?
yeah, when you were in college, like, how did you fight through that? Because I imagine as a college student, that would like kind of develop some sort of anxiety and pressure to like, I don't know.
I didn't. No, I don't know. I was cool, man. I was just doing what I had to do. I was really focused. I think I was very present for the first time. Yeah, when I was in college.
What exactly were you studying?
Well, I was a history major for the first
history, yeah.
the first semester. Then I changed it to media arts, and that's when like I started to do graphics, computer graphics. I wanted to be a filmmaker. So once I switched over to that particular major, I was doing all the things that I love. So like photography and doing film stuff and TV stuff. So I'm such a visual person. So that was a lot of fun for me.
I read that you're like at a certain time that you like your title was graphic designer, like for a certain time.
Yeah.
Why was that exactly? You're doing all these other things. But
I mean, I was a graphic designer for a long time. That's what I used to do.
right.
Yeah, that was like my career, graphic design, and I used to design, work for like handbag. I've had different jobs in fashion and stuff like that. So I worked as a designer. I worked as a graphic designer.
I might have gone ahead. That was post.
I've done a
right?
lot. I've done a lot. Yeah,
That was
post-college.
post-college, okay.
Yeah, it's that hustle mentality.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So what
I
was,
just learned how to do everything. Like, so with media arts, it taught me how to like use a camera, right? It taught me how to like edit videos, shoot video, because like I said, I wanted to be a Dominican Spike Lee. So when I graduated from college, I wanted to be a filmmaker. So I learned anything that had to do with visuals. I learned how to do all of that, and then I also learned how to do graphic design. So all those things are related. So I felt like I really prepared myself to always have some sort of a job.
you wanted to be a Dominican Spike Lee? Was there a specific film by Spike that inspired you to want to, claim that title?
Probably do the right thing.
I figured that's my favorite Spike film to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, probably do the right thing. But I love Spike Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go to, he used to have a shop called Spike's Joint, and I used to go there when I was in high school.
Yeah. So you got to this point. You made it through college. How many years? 4 or 5 years? You said?
I was there for 5.
5 years. What was your goal initially out of college? What was your
The goal was to land some sort of a PA job. 'Cause I wanted to be a filmmaker. That was the goal.
Did you make independent films around that time with friends or stuff like that, or what were you doing around that time?
Well, I graduated and I was looking for a job, and I couldn't find one. And at that time they weren't really shooting that much in New York City. It was really expensive, so I couldn't get just the entry point job of doing PA. I got to do like internships here and there. There's this thing called at that time it was called the Acapulco Black Film Festival, which I got to work on. I think it's called American Film Life now. But I spent like a whole year trying to look for a job.
Did you ever get into writing scripts?
I did. So
okay.
yeah, so
I know that's a powerful aspect of filmmaking.
Yeah, so I took screenplay writing class in college, and I wrote a script. And actually, me and my friend had wrote a script back in 2004, and we did shoot a short in 2004 in the neighborhood. And it's funny. It's a funny time because I mean that's 2004, so. By that time, I already had started working for a PR marketing company and doing graphic design and being design director there and designing backpacks and shit like that. So me and my friend, we always really ambitious people. We started writing the script, and then we just got people that we know that had a camera and stuff like that, and hired our friends, and we shot this short. And we never got to we finished editing it, but there was a part of the script that that was an animation, and we couldn't find somebody that could help us with the animation part for free. So it sat in the hard drive for a while, and then other things took off after that for me. So that's like after that, I started to do art. I started the Peralta Project, and kind of like that movie just kind of like stayed in the hard drive.
Where's that hard drive at now?
I think it's in my house. It just got messed up. It got messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. As a writer, I kind of want to ask for some advice, but I guess I'll wait towards the end of that. So the Peralta Project, that's how I was introduced to you. What year did that start? How did that start? Where did it come from? Give us the details on that, please.
So the Peralta Project officially, you could say, kind of launched in 2005, 2006. Towards the end of 2004, I had started making art. The same friend of mine who did the movie with me started to curate shows, and I at that time in New York City there was a lot happening with like boutiques downtown and like art shows and stuff like that, and I love all that stuff. So I wanted to start making art. And my boy was like, yo, I'm doing this show in September. You should be part of it. And I said, yeah. So that kind of like, by saying yes, I had to do it. And I created like these 3 pieces. And one of them is it's called Gaza Strip, but most people call it Freedom. And people liked it so much that they was like, oh, you should make that into a T-shirt. And the following year, I made it to a T-shirt, and that kind of gave birth to the Peralta Project.
That one T-shirt design kind of like birth, like the growth and expansion of the Peralta
Could you
Project.
describe that design?
Yeah. So what it is the star and crescent. What inspired the piece was this documentary I saw called Gaza Strip, and basically the documentary filmmaker was going to do one about Gaza Strip, and he was going to do one about Palestine and one about Israel, right? So he started doing the one about Palestine, and he was following the lives of these kids that were 11 years old, and like seeing what they went through was really, I was really empathetic to it because living in Palestine and seeing like the Israeli army like just knock down certain houses and just kind of like the conditions that they were living in was really fucked up. And when I was 11, I was playing cops and robbers and breakdancing, and these kids is playing Jews and Arabs, and the way you win is if you got caught and got killed, right? So it's a crazy mentality to have. And the director got killed by mistake by an Israeli. He got shot by mistake.
Damn.
Wow.
So that inspired this piece, and it's basically a kid with his face covered like a handkerchief, and it says freedom on it, and in the background is the star and crescent with like doves. So yeah, so that's what inspired the T-shirt. So like I said, a year later, I with my own money, I sent to make some shirts, and there's a shop called Brooklyn Circus. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. In Brooklyn, they sold it, and Uptown they started to sell it, and then that's when I just started little by little to do some clothing.
Did the reception and the sales like inspire you to keep going, or was it just the freedom of getting it done and like having it out there to the world inspired you to keep going?
It was just more about getting it done, because before that it was like I love streetwear, I love all of that, and I just make my own T-shirts. You know, I would just like do iron-ons and stuff. You know, and make my own things. And then
Like heat presses.
Not even at that. Like I would literally buy like these like opaque sheets that you could just print and print and then iron them on a T-shirt.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I did my first like run of T-shirts, I was like, all right, dope. Like, you know, the money that I made from that, and I designed the site. Like I used to do everything. So because of what I learned in school, I did everything. I designed my site. I programmed my site. I took I photographed everything. Like I used to do everything. When people ask me like, "Oh, how many people on your team?" I was like, "It's just me."
Just you.
Because I used to do everything.
Was that like by choice, or did you want help or need help, or did you just want to do it yourself because it was more comfortable for you?
No, I mean, I don't have that many friends, so it's just
It was
like
a necessity.
yeah, it's just like my, you know, like as far as friends, like guy friends, it was just my friend Leo, and like that's about it. He's not a creative like that, so
Yeah.
I just do me, you know.
I can relate because I was the same way when I started my company. I had to do the website because I learned and took WordPress in college. I do photography, so
Yeah.
I had to do all the pictures for the website. So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you just really have to just take your life into your own hands and just do what you want to do yourself. And then if people want to help, and they'll come to you, right?
Yeah, and
I mean, that's been the case, is that people be like, oh, I do this and I want to help and blah blah blah, and you know, and like, all right, cool, like you know, you give people a chance, and sometimes, most of the time, they fuck up.
Yeah, that's like the paranoia with me. Like I feel like I just can't let certain people in because I feel like they would fuck it up. Like maybe it's paranoia, overthinking, but like I don't know. I just feel like you just get to do shit yourself sometimes to get it done.
Yeah.
During that time, like, did you have any influences or idols, like people you like recognized that were doing the same thing as you that you wanted to do, like inspired you?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there was Shepard Fairey, the guy who does Obey. You know, so
I like
like
Obey clothing.
yeah, so I looked at what he was doing. I love everything that he did, and it was like there was Shepard Fairey and there was Obey Clothing, right?
Yeah.
So that's how he separated everything. Shepard Fairey, the artist, Obey, the clothing line. And I also had a friend, Joe Buck, who's an incredible graphic designer and artist. And like Joe Buck, it was Joe Buck. He had a T-shirt clothing company called Mike Check. So it was just kind of following in these people's footsteps.
It's like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, yeah.
So even like I feel like even how to hustle and sell was differently back then, right? Like social media wasn't as prevalent or even existent.
There
at
was
all.
no social.
Yeah,
There was
no-
MySpace.
MySpace, like on the like just starting out, like bare bones, like so you had to like go up in people's faces, selling T-shirts on the street corner.
No, I wasn't selling in the street corner. Basically, like I had a website, and I would because I worked in fashion, I used to have a list of accounts, and on the weekends I would go visit these accounts.
Oh, so you're like a mailing list of people and like their address and shit like
Yeah,
that.
I would have like the stores and stuff, and I know what stores I would want to be. So because I had a 9-to-5 full-time job, I would go on the weekends.
Right.
And I would visit, I would literally like print my catalog at my job, and have a catalog and have my samples in a backpack and walk into the store and try to spark, So by nature, I am an introvert.
Oh, this is on brand for you. Introverted intuition is on brand for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Word.
And so I would have to force myself to speak to people.
It's hard.
Yeah. So I would walk in there, and the accounts that I opened were situations that I just like build a really good relationship with folks. So that's kind of how it started. Then I would also do markets. I did Afro Punk,
Really?
Well, the original, like when they first,
When it was free.
when it was free.
It was free.
I heard about that.
Well, Afro Punk was so small. It was at BAM first, outside of BAM parking lot. So like there was like, it wasn't the first. It was like the second year that I was somewhat part of it. So trust me. Like I was always in Brooklyn for some reason. Like trooping, bringing my T-shirts on the subway to Brooklyn and stuff like that.
It's funny you mentioned being an introvert. Like I had actually had to force myself to even do this show, right? Like it was so uncomfortable at first. Even talking to like my friend behind the microphone, like how was that journey for you to like bring yourself into that extroverted space and be more personable? Like was that a journey in itself?
Yeah, it's taking a long time. I mean, I'm still that way, but there's certain things you just have to do. But a perfect example was there was one of the first jobs that I got out of college. The first job that I got out of college was working for this PR marketing company, and the opportunity was for me to do sales for this outerwear company, and it was to do sales and do cold calling and stuff like that. I was so uncomfortable. I felt like crying that I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't. The rejection and all that stuff. Like, so the woman who was my sales manager next to me was just like super helpful. Like it was just like kind of like a day by day thing. So I took what I learned from there and started to apply it, years later to going out in the street and doing it for myself.
You're an only child, correct?
No.
Oh, you're not an only child. Mm-mm. So like, were your siblings like receptive to your vision? Like, did you go to them in an event, but like, yo, I'm feeling mad anxious about this?
Oh no, I never talked to my siblings about anything.
Were you the youngest child, middle child?
No, third. Yeah, so there was 4 of us. I'm the third one.
Okay,
so but it's not.
That's interesting.
But I come from a family that we never really spoke to each other about anything.
Besides day-to-day stuff.
Just like, I don't
Dinner's
know.
ready.
Hey, what's up? I don't know.
Why is that though? Why do you think?
I mean, well, the thing is, by that time, nobody, my older siblings weren't living at home.
Okay.
They were much older. The age gap was different.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I'd be more extroverted if I had a sibling. I'm an only child, so
Same.
I feel like I would feel more comfortable like going to my sibling rather than my mom or my grandmother or whatever.
I mean, I never talked to them about. I mean, the person I would talk to would be my best friend.
Your best friend?
Yeah.
I feel like we always like introverts like always attract to like our friends more than our family, just because like I don't know, we feel more accepted by them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was just I feel like that's the role that I play in the family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when there was family functions, let's say if it's Thanksgiving or whatever, it's just like everybody's joking around or whatever, and I'm just sitting back and observing everybody.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? And but everybody's funny, so maybe sometimes I'll drop a bar or two.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? But I was cool with that though. Like I'm cool with just like seeing my mom, be laugh or be funny or whatever, and have people joking around and stuff like that. It's like that was just.
You're still enjoying yourself.
I'm still enjoying myself. I don't need to talk to them about anything.
I do the same thing every year. Like my mom is hilarious. Like and she be dropping bars, and I be doing one-liners and shit. But like as an introvert, like I don't know. I just don't want to I just don't want to talk. I don't know. I guess I don't know.
To me, even now as an adult, I don't know what to talk to my family about. Well, like in those situations, I don't know what to talk to them about. I mean, I haven't been in that situation in a long time, but most of the time, I don't know what to talk to people about.
That's so.
I get what you're saying.
But that's so crazy though, because you are a business owner.
Yeah, but they're not.
But
okay.
you are like you're working with like employees that you didn't know prior to starting the business, and you're interacting with customers. Shit, you're on a fucking podcast. You don't know us, and you're talking. So like, I don't know. Like, how did you, as you got older, like deal with that introverted side? Like, how did you learn to accept that you're an introvert, but like, no, you have to be an extrovert in these situations?
I mean, I guess like my staff, we're all kind of like the same. Like we're very tight. There's 2 other folks that work with me, and they're weirdos. You know what I'm saying? So
weirdos attract weirdos.
Yeah, it's like there's a young man and a young lady that work for me, and they're fantastic, and we have inappropriate conversations, but it's just like they're literally like they could literally be my niece and nephew. You know what I'm saying? And we're just a really close unit. As far as like customers, it's just like, I mean, it is what it is.
Here we go again.
It's just like it's just something that like I don't deal with customers on a day to day, but right now, like for instance, like I was, one of them had to leave early, so she's the one that's like the face of the house. So when she's not there, I'm the one. My shop, you have to be let in and come in. So yeah, like I'm like, hey, what's up? Like and people come in, they're like, oh my god, they're like, usually they do the talking. Yeah. When they see me, they're like,
oh my god,
oh, you're here, like. So they're the ones doing the talking most of the time.
Rewind even before the shop is like even existing. Like when did you? So what did like the confidence to even open the shop come from? Like the sales and the reception from your pieces, or what was it that made you decide like, yo, I want to open the shop?
That all happened by mistake. I'm not gonna say by mistake. That just happened. In September, the shop is gonna be 2 years. Before that, I was running everything. I was doing everything out of my apartment and a basement a few blocks away. And the past couple of years, the Peralta Project has grown incredible. It's like I don't freelance. I don't do anything for anybody anymore. So like I'm just fully dependent. Like I make money off of that, and now there's corporate partnerships and things that come into my life now. Thank God. But
I have a question about that. Do you feel that it had to take a certain level of focus where you said, you know what, I'm not going to focus on getting a regular job. I'm just going to commit to my company and the growth of my company for it to be at this point where it's your main source of income?
No. I guess in a way, but I loved the job that I had. You know what I'm saying? I had a really great career and I made great money, right? I quit my job in 2009 because my boss put me in a weird position, right? Mm-hmm. So I had $20,000 saved, and that was my fuck you money from like previous time. Once that I got like laid off, and I'm like, this is never happening to me again. I have to have money saved up, and and when that happened, I've always been doing both. I was doing the Peralta Project as a hobby. It's just like, this is something that I do. Like, it is what it is.
It
like,
fuels you.
Yeah, it was just like, this is what I do. It's like I go and I work here, and I have my own T-shirt line that I just break even all the time, right? It was all good. There was like no business plan or anything like that. I was also creating art and shit. And then
you were just living your life.
I was just living my life pretty much. And then I was doing this freelance gig a couple of days a week, right, which opened up more time for me to focus on creating art and the Peralta Project. And then once that gig was over 3 years later, and it was time for me to do a resume, I was like, I'm not doing a resume. I'm not updating my resume. I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna try to figure out words to explain the million things that I do. Right? Because it's always hard because I do multiple things. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm exhausted. And I was just taking in little gigs here and there. And that time gave me, it wasn't just, I was just doing. I just do.
You're a doer.
I'm a doer. I come up with an idea and I do it. Just that simple.
That simple.
You don't think about it. Let me try to execute.
Nope.
Yeah, you just think about it, do it, that's it.
That's it.
And figure it out as you go.
If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So then with the shop, it was like I was literally so one of the couple of Christmases or Black Fridays like 2 or 3 years ago, that shit was intense. Like I made a lot of money. Right? For the first, like, it was scary because I was like, shit, like, wow, this is for real. Like, damn, all right, cool. I don't know how I'm going to handle this the following year, doing this out of the basement, because it was really exhausting. It's like a basement.
Because that's what I was going to ask you, too. With such a high demand, especially you landing these accounts with these stores, manufacturing these products must have been hard.
Well, no, it wasn't.
By yourself, too.
I wasn't selling to stores. I was just doing straight online. I wasn't selling to stores anymore. And everything I do is made to order.
But even then, like, you got to get the orders right, the size right, the shipping right, and all that shit. So, like,
so everything I was doing, and then I saw that there was a space open around where I live, and looked into it, and took that plunge, and that like just changed my life, and because I was looking to move to California.
Wow. Okay.
I wanted to move. I wanted to leave New York.
What made you stay?
signing that lease.
Yep.
Mm.
Even the name Peralta Project, it just rolls off the tongue. It's just so like, it's just easy to say. How did you even come up with that name?
I was just thinking, it was just like being a fan of Obey and just like, I don't know. It was just like, I need something that sound, I don't know. It was, I was just thinking a lot about like what my name should be.
Yeah.
But I like the name of Peralta Project because it was like, at that time it was like, it's an ongoing project. Like I'm an ongoing project.
And I like that because, you know, success is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
I
When
like
it-
that.
So like, was the growing success like? Did it get to the point where you were like, "This is too much for just me. I gotta bring other people in," or did it? How long did it take for you to like bring other people into your project, the Peralta Project?
By opening the shop.
The shop was the first like time you brought other people in.
Yeah.
Not even fam, like your family.
What my family don't live here.
Oh,
I only have two. I mean, my sisters don't live here.
oh,
They all have their, like they have their jobs and shit like that. But no, it was just like, it was opening up the shop because I need a staff to run the shop.
Yeah.
It was the first time I was able to have a staff because before I had I would have an intern, and most of the time it was very temporary. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to come and work for you, but they don't understand that it's work.
Right.
That it's really work.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm doing here is work, you know? So, yeah, this is the first, it was after I opened up it's opening up the shop. It was like, oh, I finally have help. It's my staff.
What year did you open the shop?
2017.
2017, 2 years ago.
I love it, yo.
That's crazy. Like,
I love it.
So you did it from what year by yourself till 2017? It was
2005?
2005 to 2017 by yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Shit.
dedication.
That's for real though, because like I feel like, I mean, obviously each year the orders, like the amount grew, like
No, I mean, to tell you the truth, like the first from 2005 to like, I didn't really start making money till like 2011.
Because you was doing something that you actually loved. And
I was
it
just
wasn't
doing
about,
it.
Yeah, it was just doing it. It wasn't about he didn't have an outcome in mind. He just did it.
Yeah, like there was like, I had like 3 or 4 like accounts in New York City and like, going through the motions of collecting their stupid little checks or whatever. And I was, all right, cool. I got X amount of money. And I would put it, because I made that money, it was just doing. Like,
yeah.
I would take that money and go ahead and like design and do it all over again. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
What was like even like going back to like then and now, like how did you come up with new designs? How did you keep your mind fresh, like your ideas fresh? Like, did you observe like the ideas in like the world, like public, online, like what keeps your ideas fresh and it keeps new designs
yeah,
coming?
like now, it's just this. I'm always coming somewhere. Like it's just things that flow just go through me. Like what what I'm saying? Like one of those raps. Like it's just things that just.
You're
come
just a
to me.
creative.
I'm just like that. I'm very grateful that I come up with ideas all the time. All the time, that I have to stop myself so I could stop doing them, so I could give myself time, like
To bring them
so,
to life.
like yeah, so I could be like, you know what, Tony, like just wait till September. Like you don't need to drop any more stuff now, because I could literally just drop stuff all the time.
Do you credit that to your childhood being an introvert and just always probably just being in your head a lot?
My friend, yes, but also. As my friend said, she says that I pay attention to the mundane. So it's like everyday mundane shit, especially like I live in Washington Heights, Inwood, Dykeman, whatever. And it's
The
just like,
area now.
yeah, but it's just
wild
like,
over there.
that's where I live. That's where I was born and raised. I walk around, like I walk to the shop every day, and it's just like, there's little things that I see. Or there's like, or if it's listening to something and walking around and you might see something, inspiration strikes different, just at different times. It's weird, but I'm always I always have ideas.
Then and even now, like how do you maintain that focus to keep going? Like you have a short staff, you're like there's 2 other people, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you, like how did you maintain that focus then and now? Like was it I don't believe it is, but I feel like was it the money, the amount of money you could potentially make, or was it just the Just the thought of like being able to have your art out there and having people receptive to it. Like, what was it that kept you going? Like,
So it's never been motivated by money ever.
all right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that I'm just, I'm really happy with, for instance, like certain things are like challenging, right? So I have like this mural thing to work on that I have that I gotta do back in August, and I've been the past 2 days I've been working on this one graphic that I was really afraid of not coming out well. Right? So this is what I go through, like so I'm feeling super insecure about this shit coming out whack. And if it comes out whack, I don't want to do it. So I'm literally thinking like, yo, this is gonna have to be like, I'm probably not gonna be part of this.
Wow.
Right? That's all the time.
Whose perception is it that is whack? Is it other
Me.
people's or yours? Yours.
Me. I don't care about like
It's always
me.
the artist.
It always is. Yeah.
It's always,
like,
no,
critique
creatives are
yourself.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's me. So it's like, so I started working on this thing yesterday, and then today I'm finishing and literally like finishing it up. And I say to myself, I was like, and I told Johnny who works for me, I was like, I can't believe I did this. Like I'm proud of myself. I was proud of myself.
Yeah.
It was because it was super challenging.
And you pushed through, and you still was able.
Because what I had to do was calm down.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I had to literally calm down and start breathing. And just like, yo, Tone, just relax.
How do you decompress? Like, what is it? Did you just take a deep breath? And then
I just kind of
exhale,
like,
or what do you do?
I just had to kind of like tell myself low key, like, just chill.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I started running, which is another, I'm very surprised and proud of myself, not for anything. Like, I almost ran 5 miles yesterday. And
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It
So
was on the
and-
west side or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So what you have to understand is that I don't run, right? I don't like, and there's people there's like running crews uptown and all that shit, and people that have wanted me to go running or start running and shit, and I'm gonna do that stuff. And then like I started running 2 months ago, just on my own, just like giving myself, taking baby steps and giving myself those break, like give yourself a break. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be patient with yourself.
Well, it's a thing about being patient with yourself. So yesterday I ran, and I was like, yo, like I know I could do the 5 miles, and I was just thinking about that all day, and I did that yesterday, and I was like, and again, it's like these moments where like I'm super proud of myself because I know where I come from. Like I know how I am. I know the type of person I am. I'm so quick to be like, nah, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'll go eat some shit that I'm not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm quick to not like to what's the word, reward myself. Yeah.
It's weird. Like I'm hearing a lot of myself within you. Like I feel like with every accomplishment or whatever stat, quote unquote, whatever like you want to give it, like I'm still like feeling like it's not enough. It's not it. It's not like in my head. It's not good enough, right?
Yeah.
It's weird though. Like you come from like a strong family, like strong mother, like who worked really really hard. I'm sure to get in a position where you could get to where you're at, and you kept the ball running, and you worked to a position where you're at. But like, why do you feel like you still doubt yourself, like, or get in those moments where you feel you got to question what you've done? Like,
I'm a kid who grew up with low self-esteem and still deals with depression. So
I respect that, honestly.
that's not going away.
it's a never-ending battle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The depression it's too real. It's like it unfortunately, I feel like it'll never go away, no matter how many accomplishments. There we go. And achievements you obtain, you still have that voice in your head.
But I mean, part of me is like, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, I don't want to believe the hype. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what keeps me grounded. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. You know, I'm not. You know, it's like there's people that have a lot of opinions. There's some people who think I'm full of shit. There's some people who think that I'm full of myself or whatever and all this stuff. It's like these people don't
know you.
They don't know me. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the stuff that I go through, you know, on a daily basis.
And I respect that because, like, on the outside looking in, if people were just to judge off your Instagram, I wouldn't think you had low self-esteem.
Fuck no.
You know what I'm saying? But I respect the fact that you're honest with yourself and that you're aware of that.
Yeah.
Because it's very common for people who are very popular to have low self-esteem. Like, on certain aspects, I have low self-esteem. You know what I mean? Like,
You mad popular.
It's just it's just like, you know, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not. I mean, I don't think necessarily that had low self. I mean, there's
at times.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think more. It's just more kind of like I said, I deal with depression. You know, I'm saying that there's now that I'm getting older, there's new things that you that you start dealing with. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's just like, I think it just keeps me a lot more grounded. I'm not, you know, when, you know, I get stopped in the street all the time and people tell, you know, that doesn't go to my head. Like, I'm like, thank you.
I respect that.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like,
I really do. I
all
admire
right, cool.
that.
Like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, that's not my reality.
I really
But I
admire
just
that.
do, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what keeps me going and you know, this is my purpose in life. That's all I know. Like, you ask
Beautiful.
me what motivates you or whatever, it's doing this. Like, if I wasn't doing this, then I'll probably be dead, because this is my purpose in life. There's nothing else I could do.
You clearly have a history with depression. Like, I'm not sure if you listened to this podcast prior to coming on, but like, my history with depression is super real. And the only thing that got me out of it was podcasts.
Yeah.
So when I got to a place of like peace of mind and like peace again, like I wanted to create my own platform to help other people. So like, was creating like your only way out from that depression? Or did you have other like vices and maybe drinking, maybe smoking, or just being around other people? Was that like, what are your vices in getting out of the depression
I don't have
phase?
my vices. I think is with dealing with it head on.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't mask it with anything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. If I'm feeling depressed, I'm not gonna smoke. I'm not gonna drink. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
You face it head on.
I respect
That's
that.
super courageous.
That is.
I love
because
that.
I don't like. I mean, I don't.
That's rare.
I don't
I'm
want.
smoke though,
rare.
but I'm not gonna drink. Like,
Not because I'm not going to like. I'm not going. I don't like the hangovers, right? So that's one. And two, like, even smoking, like, I get the crazy munchies, so I can't be doing that all the time. So I have to deal with.
It's
these
hard to
things.
control your
When you get the
appetite.
munchies, you eat shitty, then you'll feel even worse the next
We was
morning.
just talking
that's
about
not
that.
true.
Facts.
I
It
had
depends
the
on the
munchies
person.
today, and I cooked rice, beans, bananas. But then again, it's also like I'm trying to like save all my little change, so I'm gonna cook every day.
Yeah.
But it's also like I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, when you're feeling down, you do not like to mask anything, and I agree with that. But it has to be something that you do, and that it's not a mask, but something you do to either confront the stress
Or alleviate it.
or alleviate.
I think that when it feels super intense for me, I start listening to like podcasts, like either a podcast, or I start listening to motivational stuff. Like, I'll go like look for, you know, like, this is Dr. Bernard Beckwith, who I like a lot. Go listen to him speak.
Do you like Les Brown?
I know who he is, but I don't listen to him. But
I
I mean,
think you
he
like
was
Les Brown.
he used to have the talk show back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I'll start looking for stuff like that, you know, to help, you know, Oprah Super Soul Sunday, like, depending on who she has, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like those are the little tricks for sure.
I have a question. So, like, growing up in a Caribbean household, right, I can relate to the fact that, like, we don't have the best cultural understanding of, like, mental health. So what is your opinion about therapy and going to see a therapist? Because today I had my first therapy session.
Ever?
Yeah, like my first one-on-one therapy session,
Yeah.
because I've had group therapy, and I feel like group therapy, I can't open up and be honest and talk about the things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So today was my first time sitting down one-on-one on a couch with
Yeah.
a therapist, and I think it was like the greatest thing in my life.
That's dope. Yeah, no, I've been going to therapy forever.
I respect that.
Yeah, I just went. What's the date? Today's Thursday. I went on Tuesday for a consultation because I've been looking for a new therapist. So, but I've been going since college, they used to have like these free therapy, like these students and stuff. Yeah, I've been doing this shit forever.
I imagine back then it was even more of like a resistance towards the idea of therapy. Like you definitely be looked at as crazy. Like it's because like that's how it was now for me. Like I felt like when I presented the idea of therapy to people who were close to me, they would look at me as like I'm like, what's wrong with you? Did you have that experience growing up? Like
I don't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody back then. I didn't tell anybody.
You just did it back then.
Yeah, it's like
you introverted for real.
Yo, I don't. Yeah, like
it's not something you broadcast.
Yeah, it's like it's like just it was just quiet. Like I didn't tell anybody. It's none of their business. I mean, nobody. It's like being an introvert is almost like if you're an introvert and you're on some loner shit. Ain't nobody know your fucking business.
Yeah. Nobody knows
There's a lot of
shit
shit I do that nobody knows about. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I'm when I'm writing an autobiography and it's coming out when I die.
I gotta read that.
So fuck everyone else's opinions. You decided to invest in yourself and invest in a therapist.
Yeah,
like funny.
I used to go to therapy. Like I used to go to when I used to work. Actually, yeah, I used to work right here on Fifth Avenue, right here around the block. I would go during lunch.
Did you ever feel like at some point like this is how I felt? I'm assuming anyone else has felt this feeling like you're paying someone to care, you're paying someone to listen. Did you ever think about have those thoughts when you initially got into therapy? Because I feel like I could go to my friends right here and they would listen to me for free and with no judgment. But I feel like with a therapist, initially I thought I was paying someone to care about my feelings and paying someone to listen to my problems.
It's crazy because I feel that way about my friends. I'm not paying to listen, but I feel like,
We give you like the answer you would expect.
In my honest opinion, I feel like at the end of the day, like nobody really has to care about what you're going through.
I don't think the therapist cares. Their job.
Yeah, it's a
job. But I never think about it that way. I think I like the moments where they just tell you a different perspective. That you're like, damn, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. And maybe that's what therapy is. Maybe therapy is giving you a different perspective.
It's about being objective.
Yes.
And they help you work things out.
Yeah, and also like confront your inner demons, angels, everything of the sort.
I agree with that because like when I was talking to my therapist, she really was listening to everything I was saying, and it wasn't necessarily about making a personal connection per se, but just about her, digesting everything I was telling her and just giving me her opinion and her perspective on it. And I mean, it was only my first session, so she's ingesting a lot of the stuff. And one of the things, still trying to exactly. It was just an overview. But one thing that I did take away was that I realized that you don't realize how much you've been through until you say it out loud. Yeah. When you say it out loud, it hits different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
For me, I just needed someone to listen without like knowing me, because like I don't know. I feel like with my mom and my grandmother, I felt like if I expressed my feelings to them, they would give me the answer that I needed to hear. Don't give me any answer. Just listen to me and just hear what I'm saying and help. And that's enough. That's helping, Yeah. And in our community, people of color, especially like you're looked at as crazy. You're looked at as nuts. Like, I don't. Just if you need to like talk and get it out, please just talk to somebody. Because
the thing is, it's funny. I get to talk to people. I have women friends, and I like to talk to women. I don't talk to dudes.
I think women are more understanding. They're more down to listen. There's no judgment. There's no ego involved.
Yeah, there's no ego.
I respect that.
That's the biggest reason.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. I have a lot of female friends that I talk to, and that they can understand and give me real good advice. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not afraid to open up to them without being judged.
Yeah, or even have a stupid little joke.
Exactly.
Don't give me the jokes,
that.
my nigga.
I don't need that. Yeah, I'm being serious. I'm being vulnerable. Don't fucking poke fun at me right now. Yeah.
So how did you even come to the point where you could trust? So the store. What year did the store open?
2017.
It's 2017, 2 years ago. I'm sorry. And did the employees come the same year?
Yeah. The first person I called was Corey, who used to intern for me. and then the other person, Brenda, was somebody who I used to see at one of the studios that I worked for, but she doesn't work for me anymore. But Johnny, who works for me now, used to be an intern for me.
How did you feel comfortable enough to let those people specifically in? Did it take a while? Did you have to get to know them more? Or
no, Corey has stayed in my apartment because she was she's. First, like, her mother went to high school with my older sister, so that was one. Two, she was interning for me. She had stayed in my apartment when I was away before, so already.
I like friends like you.
So she already had my trust, and then Brenda, who was somebody who I know that at that moment I thought I could trust. So.
Do you recall, like, the first day the store was officially open? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I mean, the very first time we opened was doing a pop-up shop for the bodega for These
Zamero.
Yeah, because I designed the stuff for them.
That's how I even found out about you, through them. Like,
Yeah.
So did you have, like, any anxiety, any nervousness that first day? Like, can you recall how you feel?
Or were you just proud and happy?
I might have been a little bit I was a little bit nervous just because I know there was a lot of people going to come through because it's These Zamero, and I know there's going to be a line outside, and I just didn't want it to be crazy. So, but it went really well.
Say his name again, because I swear I will F up somebody's name.
Jesus and Mero?
It's Jesus?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because I was saying something totally different.
Jesus.
Yes, I was. I was saying Jesus, like Jesus and Mero.
No, he's Jesus.
Did you just know them, like, just off, like, genuine friendship first, and then it became to?
I mean, it was Mero shouted me out one day on Twitter asking who's the Peralta Project and how can I get free stuff one day. When he was on it's when they were doing the show on Complex, and I've been sending him stuff ever since, and then they invited me on the show, and then we built a relationship, and I have designed a lot of stuff for them throughout the years.
How do you keep your ideas fresh and your designs fresh? Like, how do you get into a place where you're not repeating yourself with new ideas and stuff like that? Like, do you just observe and I don't know.
You know what it is about me? It's just like, that's why I don't, when somebody hits me up to do something for them, I don't want to do it.
Never.
Yeah, because my ideas come during idle time. So it's just like I'm just living my life. So like on my way over here, I could have had an idea.
Did you?
No, because I bumped into my friend Fred.
Oh, come on, Fred, you want the ideas, man.
So we was talking. You know what I'm saying?
That distracted
So
you.
so I was distracted,
Right.
but I was happy to see my friend Fred. I haven't seen him. So, but when so it's like I actually don't like the like. I trust me. There's times I get hit up sometimes by a corporation or whatever, people who got money that want me to do something. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I was like, what's your timeline? I'm like, what's your? Because I don't work. My life is not dependent on deadlines and all that corporate shit. I don't want people's nervous energy on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want your corporate shit on me. And stuff like that.
I agree.
You just want to be free.
And that's funny.
That's what I do with the Peralta Project.
Yes.
I literally like doing idle time. I'm like, oh, that's a dope idea. I'm going to work on it tomorrow.
And you can get it done and put it out if you
and
feel
do
like
it whenever I feel like it.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how I
hate
am
when
with my
people
music.
hit me up for a Photoshop. Like, if I don't come to you and I say I want to shoot you, then do not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially artists. Like, it got to the point where I was only shooting artists at one point, and they were just so, I love y'all, but y'all was just so annoying with you shoot them on a Saturday at 12, 11:45, they're hitting you up like, oh, you done editing?
That's annoying.
Didn't even get home yet.
And that was the thing that made me stray away from trying to use photography as a service for other artists, because they're so particular and they really want it done immediately. And the most annoying thing is when you give them a finished product,
it's just
and
like,
they want you to re-edit some shit. it?
No, I've
'Cause they
had
feel like they
people
look
I
bad.
edit pictures and they re-edit it and then they will tag me to it. I'm just like, do not. I'll have like, do not tag me to that because I do not edit that.
Right.
I don't like that edit.
Right.
This is what you like, fine, but don't tag me to that.
Right,
So.
right.
It's really, I can definitely understand you say like you don't want to be on a deadline for anybody because you just want your creative juices to flow naturally.
Yeah, like that's where I'm at life right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't.
Are you a writer by any chance?
Am I a writer?
Yes. Like, do you write for?
No, I wish though.
Huh? Oh,
I
you
wish.
Okay.
I don't have the patience.
Okay.
It requires a lot of patience for real. And like, look, for me personally, like I'm a writer. I'm working on my first book. Like, little things, like little distractions, will take you.
I'm
take
the
you out of
typo
it.
king.
I've been writing my book since I was 13 years old.
Let me ask you this though, like, you been writing a book since 13?
Since 13.
That's dope though.
I gotta get to know you more, yo. Which book are you writing?
Because the same book I've been talking about, like you know what it is with me, I've been thinking about it
Okay.
since I was a kid, but I haven't been through anything.
Mm.
So I had to go through all the life experiences, go through everything before I can actually like verbalize everything. And like I said, now I got to the point where it's just like, do I really want to put this out there?
Yeah.
You do though.
Can I share something with y'all?
You can, CR.
I low-key have something very similar to that. And I started my first chapter of my book. It's called Remember It All.
Okay, CR.
But it's the similar situation to Lainey where it's like I'm young. I'm only 26 and I'm turning 27. And although I'm young, I have lived through a lot. But I've only just reached the threshold of overcoming those things. So I haven't reached the reflective part of my life yet where I've seen how those things have shaped my future.
Right.
I'm just transitioning out of the struggle. You get me?
Now, I feel you. I had picked up my yearbook the other day and it said, you know, when they ask what you want to be. And
See your
mine
quote?
clearly said writer. Like, that was it, just writer. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, I quit my job. The goal is to write. But, and honestly, I'm going to be real honest with y'all. I haven't written the whole time I haven't been working. Like, I wrote little pieces, but I haven't written anything. I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I did that. But it was crazy because on my ride over here, I was like going through my phone, reading what I wrote. It was like something like you just said earlier, like, damn, like I did that. Like, that's my thought. I wrote that. But it's just all about, you know, I feel like he said, when I die, hopefully the right people know to put stuff out there and get it out there. Because maybe it will help somebody else.
That ties into another question I had. I want to save that for later. But in terms of like working with these different corporations, different brands, like I know money isn't on the forefront for you, but it is a necessity. It is needed, right? So let's just say you have an ideal brand you want to work with. They present you a certain amount of money, whatever, a certain opportunity, right? But it doesn't necessarily align with your integrity. Like, would you work with them?
Nope.
I respect that.
I was going to a meeting last week to a sneaker company that wants to work on something with me. And I was just prepared to say no, because if they were gonna show me a shoe model, then I'm like, nah, that's just whack. I would have been like, I'm not doing that.
So no amount of money will shift your integrity.
No, because you're reaching out to me. I'm not reaching out to you.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that you're already approaching it in a way where you're not looking for that in the first
Yeah, I
place.
was gonna say, like, to ask him that question is a little different because
I
he's
have
been-
to, though.
No,
He's
I know,
not-
no, yeah, I understand that, but it was more so like just listening to him since I've been here. His childhood, his background, the way you grew up. You said you was very handy since you was a kid. Like you picked out your own fly. You made yourself.
Yeah, like I don't spend money. First of all, like
I can,
so
like-
so look, I don't. So the thing about me is that I don't have kids and I'm not married. So so I have a low overhead. You know what I'm saying? I pretty much wear the same things all the time.
I
You know what I'm
respect it.
saying? I mean, I have a nice sneaker collection, but
Stunning.
some of them I don't buy. Some of them they're like it's
I mean, you could have a good sneaker collection and then
Like-
black T-shirt.
yeah,
jeans,
like you know what I'm
that's ready
saying.
to go.
Like, you know how old these jeans are? Like
You gotta tell me, I'm wearing
I feel like that's for
a
real.
10-year-old dress.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
an
Like
8-year-old
I don't
vest, so,
like
yeah.
I'm very low maintenance in that sense. Like
That's
I
what
don't-
real niggas with money do, though. Like, we'll wear the fucking Walmart T-shirt,
Yeah.
Walmart jeans, but we're some.
I don't even think it's real niggas with money. I think it's people who are not in the hype.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I could, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no, there's really, I don't understand, like first, just even, there's a lot of shit in this world, and like I can't
Tell
have,
me
like
about
for instance, like somebody like Fab, right? Like Fab must have so much shit in his closet,
It don't make no sense.
right?
No,
And it's like in reality, like what is the point of all that?
I agree.
Honestly,
I agree.
Perception.
to be the devil's advocate, I feel like somebody like Fab rotates the clothes every 6 months and just get rid of he just get rid of it.
I feel like
But
that's
I don't
so
feel like
so
his
wasteful.
closet
but
is-
it's so wasteful.
It's so
No, he's very
wasteful,
wasteful.
right?
And especially like even how like Chris Brown has a whole like guest house full of sneakers.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to
And-
keep up with the time.
and
That's
you-
their
He has a guest
perception
house
of it.
full of
That's their
sneakers?
perception
Yes,
of
he
it.
has a whole
Rich
guest
people-
Okay,
house.
so this is
So
my
rich
thing.
people are not like that.
Shoes is different.
Shoes is different.
Like,
rich people-
you can have a guest house full of sneakers,
But like so,
but not jeans and t-shirts.
Ever
and shit.
since
like,
I've like so Mark Zuckerberg wears the same things every day.
Yes, gray shirt.
Like Tom Ford says he buys 3 suits per season, so he wears 3 suits a season. You know what I'm saying? Like
he is Tom Ford.
you know,
He's Tom
but
Ford.
but
What's
three,
Tom Ford look
but
like?
but it's 3 suits per season, right?
But he-
so he
so-
rocks the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like so there, you know, like as a creative, I literally wake up. I don't think about what I'm gonna wear.
Word.
Like I have sneakers on the floor, right? And I just like and whatever.
Pick your shoe?
I have like I just boom whatever million t-shirts I got like black. I'm trying not to wear black anymore though.
I'm
Can't
trying
see
to.
myself.
They told- I can't.
Try it.
No,
It is
yeah, it's funny.
summertime. I respect it.
No, but it's funny because just like on some spiritual level shit, right? It's not like I shouldn't be wearing black.
I was about
I
to
never
ask
thought
you,
of
but I
it
was
that
going to
way.
save it
Uh-oh.
for after the show.
Yeah.
So we'll
We're
save
all
that now.
wearing black.
No,
Yeah.
Oh,
but no,
shit.
it was another question I was going to ask him, but I'll save it for after the show.
Yeah.
Because I feel like spiritual things is not something that you talk.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start not wearing black as much.
You have to go all white.
No, but I'm just gonna
No.
have to start wearing certain just colors, you know, just to attract certain energies.
Okay, I got you. Because black is like a no energy. It's like it's a
Yeah,
void of
it's not
everything.
good.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
black is great, but I'm
I
just
love
saying.
black. I wear black, but
But
different levels. Different levels.
Yeah, but
different.
from a spiritual standpoint, you shouldn't be wearing it.
Damn.
And then from my spiritual standpoint, all I do is wear it. So
Yeah. You know, so we have to, you know, if there's, you know, there's certain changes. If we want to see certain changes in your life, you gotta make
Exactly.
I want to
certain
hear you
changes.
talk about that because like I love black and that's actually one of my favorite colors. But I didn't understand that there's a spiritual connection to it. I really want to learn about that.
That's like
I
an
mean,
after.
I was
after,
told I need to stop wearing black.
Fuck.
Really.
you know, I feel like everybody has their own message, and that was his message. So in order for him to track more light into his life, he needs
Yeah.
to get rid of all the dark, all the black.
Yeah.
May I ask you this though? Like in terms of like on your way up, I feel like we've all been around people who've like you presented an idea to them, and they were like, no, that's just gonna work. In terms of like criticism and like non-belief, like on your way up and like creating the Peralta Project, did you encounter any like negative criticism? And even now, like pieces are out. Like, do you get any type of criticism? And how do you deal with that? Or do you even acknowledge it at all?
Not when I was coming up. I mean, some people out there. There's people that don't know me have certain opinions about me. You know, some would like to say, DK, I'm problematic, DK. You know what I'm saying? I am on Twitter, but I'm very, you know.
I
people-
love Twitter. I'm
Folks
not on
don't
it,
know
but I
me.
love
You know
it.
what I'm saying? People. There's plenty of opinions out there about me. People don't know me, so when they don't know you and they don't see you talking or whatever, they form their own opinions. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it is what it is, man.
You don't even give a fuck.
Yes, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I am a Cancer and I am sensitive.
That's
and
what it
there's
is,
moments that
okay.
it bothers
One of
me.
my
Knew
best
it,
friends
yo.
is a Cancer.
Cancers, I can't escape, yo.
July Cancer?
Yeah,
July what?
Oh my
July 20.
Oh, wow.
God.
So it's like, you know, I might be bothered by it, but then after I'm like, yeah, I don't care, dude. I don't really care.
I respect
don't really,
that.
I don't.
No, you don't care. You don't. See, men are different.
No, but creatives are all the same. Like we all are receptive to different.
I just
energy.
I mean, I would just be like,
I'm talking about the Cancer point of view. Like creatives
I would be
are
more
crazy.
just like, it's just funny. I will go on the defense because it's just like, yo, how can you have so much opinion about me if you don't know me like that?
No facts.
You know what I'm saying?
What
Like
are you
have
drawing
no
your
facts.
conclusions
Like,
from?
you know, if you know, for somebody to, you know, if you call me problematic or whatever that is, like you don't have no proof.
I feel like when people call other people problematic because they're not ready to confront the the conversations. Like, if we have difference of opinions, that don't mean I'm problematic. That means I just don't agree. Like, I don't think like you.
Exactly.
And you should have punished me
that's,
for it.
And that's the thing, is that because I come from a different generation, people don't understand my point of view on certain things. And even for somebody from my generation, I'm a lot more open in comparison to people from my generation.
You're more liberal.
So do you feel like there's a disconnect between generations?
There
Whereas, like, I don't want to. Can I call you the Jay-Z generation?
I don't know. I guess.
What is the Jay-Z generation?
What's it?
I'm going based off of age.
I mean, Jay's older than me, but I'm 44. I'm 44 going on 45.
Yeah, like, okay,
you know what I'm saying? So the thing is with me is that I'm always around 20-somethings. Always.
And they're just very different.
The
energy is very high.
But if you're like, people who are around me is different. But if you're hearing me talk, if I'm giving my opinion on some nonsense on social media or whatever, that's different. Like, you know, first of all, a lot of times I'm just making jokes and being fucking sarcastic. So, you know, but
people too sensitive.
Even people are sensitive off of jokes.
Of course.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
The world has gotten really sensitive.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
I
a gift and a
try-
curse.
I try not to even say much sometimes, but sometimes I just can't help it.
What would you say is like the hardest part about what you do? Like the Peralta Project, the shop, like what would you say, like creative process? Like
No, not the creative part. The hardest part, to tell you the truth, that's really getting to me is dealing with entitled people.
Oh, you're speaking
Fuck
to
y'all.
my spirit. Okay,
Hate
it's funny
entitled
because
people.
it's funny. Jeff must be reading because Jeff been giving me stink out all day. But you know that's Jeff business. I really don't care. I had this thought today. I was in the house, and I kid you not, I was just like, yo, I'm so tired of these freaking kids who are so fucking entitled. These 28 to 21s, and I'm just like, yeah, I feel like the world needs to be given to y'all on this globe pattern because you thought about it, and it's just like, but me, and it's just like, no.
There's no struggle for the
It's
younger kids nowadays.
It isn't. And it's just like, there's such a, I remember going to school and I got an award for never missing school, but even that was so stupid because I'm just like, yo, I missed 2 days. I just don't know I missed those 2 days. But you dead gave me an award for never missing 4 years of high school. And it was just like, I dead missed 2 days.
Right.
I would love to see that award right now.
Of course I don't have that shit. Like,
But it's also like people, because I'm Dominican or I'm from uptown, or people see you, like people, you get emails like if they know you. So it's like, where's my order? You know what I'm saying? It's like that hood shit, right?
Yeah.
It's because
so
it's like
the internet made it that
professionalism.
way.
so it's not even it's just like, oh, you somebody from the hood that's making stuff. So this is how I'm talking to you. Yo, where's my order?
That's whack.
Where's my order?
That's whack.
Subject line.
That's
Where's
whack.
my order?
That's
Don't
whack.
ask me that, yo.
That's whack.
You know what I'm saying? Or
No respect.
It's literally like and it's really getting to me, because the thing is that, I'm extremely grateful to where I'm at in life, and that and the certain level of success that I have, but I didn't get in it for this. You know what I'm saying? To deal with people like, cause this level, dealing with people like this.
Like,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
paid you, so send me my thing right now.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
the
just
sense
that.
of entitlement is ridiculous. Like the way people, like, yo, you don't, man, there was a customer not too long ago who was like, I knew that, supporting Dominicans was gonna, he's Dominican, supporting Dominicans was gonna be like this. You like Dominican politician because literally, because the thing is too, is like, people don't read. So it's like, so what's the point of having policies if you don't read it, or you don't like,
We don't read the terms and agreements.
yeah. So it's like
Sure.
it's like that, that customer's over his right shit. Like,
I'm not
that's
Mason
I'm not about that, man. I'm
Fuck you.
sorry.
You're not always right. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Like,
man. Look, when I'm wrong, I take the L and I do everything to correct it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times that if we send somebody the wrong shirt, I'm like, yo, keep the shirt. We're sending you another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when people hit me with their rude emails, man, I'm not about that shit, and that shit ruins my day sometimes.
That is
Let
crazy.
me ask you this in terms of like being Dominican. Like, have you experienced any colorism at all?
Of course.
And what is that like?
And I also want to.
We got a Haitian and we have a
yeah,
Dominican.
because
Like,
I
that's
love
like,
Dominican people. You know what I'm saying? But you know the history and how there's been feuding on the island between the two.
Yeah.
How do you personally feel about Haitians? And you can be totally honest. I won't take no offense.
No.
Haitians suck.
I mean, if it wasn't for the Haitians, it would be no, but you know, whatever.
But no, I
No,
really
what you
want to
gonna
know
say?
that.
I mean, the Haitians kind of helped y'all with the whole process, with that whole island, with the whole process of freedom in a sense, in that time, history sense.
I don't think so,
Wait.
but all right.
No?
No, but I mean, no. You know, the interesting thing is that I, as a native New Yorker born in Washington Heights, and I never met a Haitian. And when I was, when I didn't meet a Haitian until I went to Dominican Republic for the first time, like when I was 11, right? And then when I went, and then in New York City, when I went to LIU and being in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn is where we
Yeah,
at.
that's
Right?
y'all run Brooklyn.
So there's that, right? You know, I think that it's all propaganda, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's a great book called The Why the Cox Fight that explains a lot of that. It's all propaganda. It's all like
Divide and conquer.
it's all it's pretty much all divide and conquer. It's things that, you know, like Dominicans have used to look. Dominican Republic is not. They have a low education rate there, so you're dealing with people who are not educated, who are easily manipulated. You know what I'm saying? Just like what's happening here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? So it's just through propaganda you can manipulate people who don't know how to read or whatever, just based off of hearsay. And now through Facebook and all this other stuff, like.
What do you feel about now with all the stuff that's coming out that people are dying?
But people are dying where?
in the DR, they're like
Everywhere.
Because I'm actually going to DR in
It's not
July
but
for the
you know,
first
it's
time.
like,
Oh, and DR and
There's been
alcohol and
people
shit.
who've been dying from
That's
poison.
bullshit. Nigga, that's bullshit.
Don't go to- don't go to the
first of
mini
all-
bar,
Is
yo.
it the bootleg alcohol?
That shit, I don't. That shit,
Tell me about that.
Don't
that
go
shit
to
is
the mini bar.
hilarious.
Tell me about that.
I mean,
Hilarious.
I don't know, man. Like, they serve you bootleg alcohol in Dykeman, dude. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
No,
Like,
not for nothing. New York serves you bootleg alcohol in every bar and establishment you go to. I remember going to Jersey for, I think my ex took me to Harris, whatever the case is.
Okay.
And I
in
got
Atlantic
lit
City.
off of one drink. I will not kid you
they
not.
serve you every
But
like
that's the thing, in
every
New York,
like
they give you
everywhere,
there's
like even
bootleg
like
liquor all
in
through New York.
Mexico and all that stuff, like whatever. That's just like some weird, you know, stunt or whatever that's happening. Like that's weird. But but as far as like going back to like Dominican, it's funny because the other day of my friend Juka, who's the Haitian, he's trying to put together an event where we could
come together.
because you know
I
it's
would
funny.
love that.
I ate Haitian food for the first time.
And you said this is just like Dominican food.
oh no! First of all, it's so good, but it's like Dominican
just
food,
like
but
Dominican
just
food.
a little bit spicy,
Spicy.
which is amazing.
Spicy food is always lit. Fuck
yo,
out of here, yo.
No, but
Yeah.
but you know, Dominicans normally don't eat spicy food.
Word.
I had to learn how to eat spicy food, but I appreciated it, and even the beer, like Prestige,
Prestige.
that
That's
shit
the
is- like all that. You know what I'm saying? And I ate it in the Dominican Republic. You know what I'm
Oh, for
saying?
real?
So yeah,
that's dope.
you know, it's what it
So
does.
you feel like you feel like America has the history of DR completely wrong in the history books. They're not telling the right story. It's all propaganda.
No, well, what I'm saying, the propaganda that happens in the island, it's in, you know, it starts over there. Look, man, Dominicans are like Haitians and Dominicans don't really. What I like to say is a lot of times there's a lot of discussions are happening here, but they have to happen over there.
I agree.
Right?
Because that's where it's coming from.
The issues are
Coming from back home.
Yeah, it's not here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The
like,
Americanized
are
Dominicans and Haitians,
Yeah, like
we're
are
good.
Dominicans and Haitians killing themselves in Brooklyn?
No.
No.
Fuck no.
Like
My
that's
best
what-
friend is Dominican.
But that's what I'm. So it's over there, and you're dealing with people. Then you're dealing with a huge gap of people that are not educated, and on top of that, it's a government and people who take advantage of people that are not educated, who are easy to manipulate. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. I also think that Haiti needs a rebranding.
They do, and they need a rebranding. They
Dude,
need to change up the
Can
government.
but can I tell you something? Like when I went to a Haitian restaurant and they were playing music videos, and I kept on asking the dude, "Is that in Haiti?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Pero Like, yo,
Y'all don't advertise it that way.
like, yo, Haiti needs a rebranding because I never, like, what? That's in Haiti? Like,
No, they say like Haiti's really beautiful.
How come I never
very
seen?
beautiful.
I never
Is it
seen.
really?
Yes,
Everybody
it's
says
very
that.
beautiful.
Really?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't be questioning that. You know what I'm saying? Just because they show you something, you know, of whatever might have happened in Port-au-Prince or whatever, the country is bigger than that,
It's way
right?
bigger.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there needs to be a rebranding. There needs to be a better effort to show other, you know,
Parts of the country.
first, like, there's beautiful beaches. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in Haiti. You know what I'm saying?
That
Is-
nobody talks about.
that nobody ever talks about.
About it.
And it's just like, and it's the Haitian people that need to start doing
I agree.
that.
But I feel like
Come on,
Haitian
CR.
people, like, no funniness. I feel like Haitians are. Most people now are within the community of themselves. I feel like for some reason everybody is trying to segregate themselves again. I was watching a show and everybody got mad for a Spanish girl saying the word nigger, and I'm just like, I'm watching the show and I'm just like, are we that desperate for ratings that we're making this an issue, or is this an issue because all of a sudden we feel like Spanish people are not our people?
Well, one, you shouldn't be using the word Spanish. Two,
Oh,
the internet.
the answer. Okay,
As
so
a New
you
York-
said using Spanish. So what's the proper term?
Latino.
Latino. Oh.
Latino.
Let me ask you this.
Listen.
Though.
But the internet.
I was gonna say Spanish because I'm my mother's child. Like I'm gonna fuck up everybody's
I
name.
know, I get it. This is that, but the internet. The what I was just.
And
It's the internet.
I feel like that because
As
it's just
New
I'm
York-
watching the show. I think it was Black in Chicago, and
you
Lily
go.
It's
said
my shit.
she called like she said nigga. And I'm watching and I'm just like, yes, there are
bad, too.
some Latinos who do say that word in a derogatory term when they are upset. But guess what?
Black
As
people
a
do
black
too.
woman, when I'm upset, you all types of ugly black nigga bitches and
That's
every
what
son
I'm
of a
about to
bitches.
say, like, black
so
people
it's
do
just
it
like
too.
when
Word.
my mom is upset growing up, you stupid nigga, and it's just like,
we all
Yeah,
use
but
it
you
that
know,
way.
you know, it's
as a, it's wrong. I always, I feel like our ancestors just like, I don't realize how much we fought for that word to not be used. And no matter how many ways we try to say it's a term of endearment and everything, we probably should stop saying it.
We took
Yeah,
the
but you
power
know-
back
but-
from that word, though.
but see, that's
and
the
I don't
thing.
want to
we
say,
own
and I
the
don't want
power.
to say that neither.
but the thing is that not for anything, like, one, it's too fucking late. And let's be
Too late,
let's
okay.
be realistic because in the 90s, right, when
Yeah.
they
Forget about it.
were using that shit hard body,
Hardcore.
right? Like like as New Yorkers, we all grew up together.
especially
See,
as New Yorkers.
as New York,
Especially
so
as
that's
New
that's
Yorkers.
the
My mom's
thing.
from Brooklyn.
When I say the internet is that other places they live a segregated life.
and
we
I'm
don't
just-
live
I don't-
segregated
yeah,
in New
just
York.
like, and I grew up in the South Bronx. I was next to Puerto Ricans,
Exactly.
Dominicans, black people.
So
like,
you know what I'm
Hold on.
saying? So
everything.
Let me ask you this though: like, does like the current climate of this country and just how we speak to each other like affect your creative process at all, or do you just brush it aside and separate the two?
yeah, I don't pay attention to it. I don't really care.
You don't care, or
I mean, I try not to. I mean, like, what the current climate is? What's the current climate? We're
our president is shit.
like,
In general, like I feel like there's like kind of like a divide in like unity between people of color. Like I feel like there's people of color who align with the president and his ideals, and there's like a divide in like people who just do their own shit.
I don't pay attention to it. You know why? Because people are not genuine.
Sheep.
Thank
Sheep?
you. I was about to
Like,
say
I'm looking over here.
people are not.
Sheep.
Yeah, people are not genuine with what they believe or not, man.
Okay.
They go with the crowd.
Everybody's just riding a wave.
Like if
you know?
everybody really said how they really
Fuck
feel
you.
and really thought.
Fuck everybody then.
No,
Well,
I'm
it's
like I
like-
just keep it true. I just keep
No,
it
because,
like I keep it true to myself. Like what I do is I
Stay
keep it true
true
to
to you.
myself. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're, but people just seem to be riding some weird wave,
Wait.
and it's just like,
You gotta pick a side, yo. In my opinion, like if you with us, then you with us. If you with them, you with them. Like
But in this sense, who's us and them?
look, like I was saying this yesterday at the shop. It's like people are. There's 20 Democratic candidates, right?
Yes.
Which is one is ridiculous, right? As basically the Avengers getting together to fight people.
And
right?
some people with like no political backgrounds whatsoever.
So Trump is Thanos.
But this is
Trump is Thanos.
yeah,
bro.
the orange Thanos,
Deadass.
right? But this the funny thing is that
Why was everybody so mad at Thanos again? I get what he was.
We're not
Never
talking
mind.
about Thanos right
Right.
now.
no, but this is
Continue.
this
Yes,
is my
please.
thing, right? So there was a picture going around yesterday of the dad and the little
Yes.
girl dead in the water, right?
Okay.
All right, so that's a very sad picture and all this other stuff. So all these different groups are gonna choose a candidate that their issue makes sense. The real big issue is not to have Donald Trump in office. And all I care about, honestly, I don't really care about them 20 candidates. All I care about is which one is going to get him out of office. It's really that simple.
I respect that.
Because not win again.
They're all not trustworthy, but like as long as whoever gets him out, gets him out.
But the thing is,
why does everybody hate Donald so much?
What's the alternative, though?
Thank you. So this is my thing. As Americans, who I always said this before on the show, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. I love a good conspiracy theory.
You were.
So if it was something we were saying years ago that our president does not really run the country, but he is the face to say what the other people want the country to do, why do we hate Donald Trump again?
To me,
we should hate George Bush too, by the way.
No, to tell you the truth, it's not about hating Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, Donald Trump is hilarious.
Thank you. I feel like
he's owning this shit.
No, but the thing is, I
don't
think
think
Donald,
he want to be.
I think Donald Trump finally figured out that he could do whatever he wants. He finally figured that out. He lies every day.
Okay,
literally lies every day.
I feel like he's just running with it till he gets to jail. I feel like he
he's
knows what he's doing.
He's not going to jail. Okay, so what you do? You don't understand. If we was to impeach this president now,
we can't impeach him.
We're getting bombed.
But that's the thing.
No, we can't impeach him.
Impeaching Donald. So in reality, impeaching Donald Trump is not going to put him in jail.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about after like 2020. He's not winning. Either Joe Biden or like let's say Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg or whatever. Like
all I'm saying is this. Look, all I'm saying is that the things it's not a. For instance, the other day I was listening to a podcast. Reed, this Joanne Reed.
Shout out to them.
Oh.
No, not the Reed.
Oh, okay.
I listen to
Reed.
But it's Joanne Reed, who's a political correspondent, like a journalist. Reed versus Reed or whatever. They're two. Anyway, they had this woman there talking about abortion, right? And they were saying, which one thing I never thought about is that once they come after your abortion rights, they're also going to come after contraception, like
climbing up the ladder,
what's it called? The pills, what the women
birth control,
and all that stuff, right? And those are the things that you're not paying attention to, right? And those are the things that he gives liberty to. You know what I'm saying?
Conspiracy theory.
What's the conspiracy?
So, a little while ago, I think I said before on the show, I was watching the news. There was a report saying how we are not replenishing the generations after us. We are not having babies. In the last 5 years, America, we're not having babies no more. People are not having babies. And with that being said, the civilization is slowly declining. So what happens now?
Yeah,
you
but
make
it's
abortion
not us. But it's not us. It's the ones that who's declining is not having is white people, and they're afraid about it, and they're afraid of that. And
I hear what you're saying, but I know a lot of women of color who are struggling to have kids right now too, but they don't give a fuck about our babies.
But
right?
the larger majority
of the white women
is white women.
That is true because when you go on certain sites, they're begging for Caucasian and Asian eggs.
So that's another thing, and another reason why the abortion is because there will be the minority at some point. So
they're trying to prevent
based on your conspiracy.
And I read it in Alabama. She's a female. She's of Caucasian persuasion, and her uncle raped her more than once. She had a baby, and they even give this man visitation rights.
Y'all don't watch The Handmaid's Tale?
I've been meaning to get into that show. It has good reviews. I trust Rotten Tomatoes. I've been meaning to get into that show, but I haven't seen it yet.
Shit is nuts, man.
Is it a clear reflection of America today?
No, it could be.
It could be. Okay.
That's what it looks like it's gonna happen. Like where we're on our way to.
I was hoping. I was really hoping for the Children of War kind of concept with what's that man Clive Owen, I think, when it was no more babies being born.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that to happen to us, but I guess not.
Well, the Handmaid's Tale has to do with the women were made into the handmaids are made into slaves because they could bear kids.
Do y'all feel like capitalism
complicates?
Drank too much.
Pass the Henny.
Do y'all feel like capitalism complicates the concept of life itself?
You need money,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you don't need money to be happy. And I think that's where people are
misled.
messed up. Yeah,
that's
Because
why-
people have that misconception.
like money makes me happy. Like if I have this, if I have the latest this, if I look like this, then I'm happy. Like there's so many girls and even guys now getting their bodies done. It's just like
And
that's not gonna make. If you don't
people
find
putting
it
that
within
before their
themselves-
livelihood.
ego controls everyone's like consciousness. Like I feel like without ego, like.
But I think we're
people-
slowly shifting from that in 2019. Slowly. I'm not saying it's happening like overnight, but I feel like if you watch it that's happening, it's a slow shift. It's either a slow shift or a slow fake shift. 'Cause I've seen like 3 people I've just recently, Chris Brown and 2 other artists I know who did albums this year, and they're going with the whole indigo theme. That whole
Indigo child
universal,
shit.
yeah, that whole
Yeah.
universal. Like everybody's latching on, like you say, people are latching
The
on to mental
consciousness.
health. People are latching on to consciousness
They
now.
are. It is a trend, and I'm not mad at it.
Why do you think it's a trend if it's just not awareness? Like I feel like the concept of indigo children, I feel like that was
What's
kind of
that?
just.
Indigo children.
It's the children. I feel like you are an indigo child, but
Facts.
because you're at that age, it's like people wouldn't think you are an indigo child. But because you just live within yourself and you just do things to make you happy, it's not about you. You're not on a 3D. I feel like you're very selfless. So everything that you do is, in a sense, to help somebody else on some level.
Facts.
Whether you use your
Sometimes.
art, whether you use your art to inspire somebody else
Yes,
or
yes.
something like that. Because I feel like artists, you don't draw without the need to inspire somebody else.
I feel like artists can't exist fully without other people. Like,
Yes,
without
and it's not even about
strangers.
that gratification. Like, oh, you're such a great
It's
artist.
about
It's more of
recognition.
about
No.
this.
You don't think so?
Well,
I
to
feel like
me,
it's
like
more
part of
about
it,
I do
my
it-
art made me. My art made
I
you
do
feel.
it to rep. I do it to I say it's okay. right?
No,
course.
I say that I make art too that represents people that are underrepresented.
Facts.
So
And that's what I mean by recognition, because it might not always be you per se wanting the recognition, but you want your art, literally, you want your art to be recognized.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do want your art to be recognized.
Every
You do
artist wants their
want-
art to be
I
recognized.
feel like that's your immortality.
I agree, 100%.
When like I said, when I die, I will hope my words reach somebody like the Harper Lee who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing she's ever really published. And that book has carried on for what, 30 years or something, like maybe 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one book. Her only published work, I would say that, because I'm sure she's probably written other things. She's probably just never had them published.
Right.
But that was her only published work. And it's carried her throughout her career forever.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a personal project that a lot of people have who are artists, is to leave a legacy through your art.
Because you want to change. You want to. In my book, I feel like I want to just tell a story of my generation.
yeah.
Of the 80s babies who are, most of us was, born from crackhead parents and prostitute parents and pimp hoe daddies. And I feel like nobody really tells our story the proper way.
I agree.
They just make it seem like we were scammers when we got older. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. And a lot of that's because we was in New York, the public school system, things changed. They no longer offered us trades. It was now you have to pass these tests to make the school get money, to make the district get money.
I get it. So that
So-
way they could get funding. I get it.
Because
It's
when I
political.
left high school, I felt like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I went to college and I dropped out because it was just like, where is this?
What is this?
This is not the college I see on TV. This is high school 2.0.
Right. A lot of
I ain't
people
got
say
time
that.
for this. Let me go get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though, like in terms of like, I'm trying not to like, we have fans that are people.
Be a fan.
Be a fan.
No,
Be you.
no, I'm not trying to be a fan. We have fans that are white and shit. What is like your perception, thoughts on gentrification?
It's that Henny.
Do you shut up?
I mean, I have a problem with gentrification where people are being displaced. Yeah.
I heard they were like that issue. There was rezoning in Washington Heights. That was.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's very complicated, but it's just, that's like people being displaced. I have a problem with. I have a problem with people that move into communities and like want to change shit, or like you come and you complain. You don't know the community.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked, because you're a business owner. Like, are you acceptance? Like, do you accept it, or do
Is
you?
Washington Heights being taken over, or are you
Is it?
still?
Yeah.
Is it just still the
Yeah,
essence
low-key.
of?
I mean, it's- I live in Inwood, which is Dykeman, Washington Heights. That's where I'm from.
I feel
But
like
I don't.
Inwood is
I,
like already.
so, no, it's funny because it's like
Always
I don't know,
proper.
man. Huh?
I feel like Inwood was like the prim and proper area anyway.
Not any. I mean, not necessarily, but it's funny because it's like I saw some new residents discussing the fireworks happening.
OMG.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you never been here in the summertime? Like,
This is what happens in New York.
you know,
Fireworks.
it's like that's the thing is that, you know, these people move into these communities and they don't know, you know, it's like you have all these complaints. It's just like,
This is how we
like
celebrate.
I literally, but it's something that I developed. Like I remember, you know, like I could go to sleep like nothing when there's all these fireworks going on,
Yeah.
like nothing, right?
Right.
But I got acclimated to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I got to deal with. You
Yeah.
know, but I don't. Like it is what it is.
It is.
You
Just
know?
like how some people are used to hearing the train pass by every night.
Yes.
I live next
it's
to the train.
background.
No, the train is literally there, and I forget that the train is
That's
there.
how I feel because I live by Newark Airport. Airplanes, my girl comes to my house and she's like, "You don't hear that?" And I'm like, "Hear what?"
Yeah, exactly.
I live by JFK and I live by the A train, so I hear
Yeah.
planes, I hear trains,
Yeah.
and then I'm in the Punjabi area. It's just summertime come, I don't
Forget
sleep a
about
week.
it.
Well,
Forget
I'm sleeping, but I'm used to like if I don't hear the music and I'm not chill, I'm like out. I need to hear it. I'm from New York. I went to Philly for my sister when she first moved out there. She lives in Northeast Philly now, and it's so quiet.
That shit creeps you out.
Yeah, I'm just like it's too quiet. Like
Yeah.
I need to hear a gunshot. Like put something in the air real quick. Like I need to hear something.
Yeah, I just have I just really don't like when people don't engage in the community. That really makes me super duper uncomfortable, and I hate that.
And I hate when people try to act like they get it and they're hip, but you don't understand it all.
No,
You're not from here.
Yeah.
And another question, because we're running short on time, unfortunately, but honestly, I'll fucking pay Gotham extra to keep going. In terms of legacy, like, you don't have any kids,
No, not yet.
but I mean, so maybe?
Who knows? Whatever.
I feel you. I don't
In terms of
plan on
legacy,
having
like, what do you want your own personal legacy and for the Peralta Project to be known as or be remembered by in the future?
I don't know, man.
You never thought about that?
No, because the other day I tweeted that when I die, everything that I have, just burn it.
But you have employees,
Are you
you
out
have
here
people who
being
respect
like
you who will keep it going.
the Playboy bunny guy?
Who?
Hugh Hef.
Yeah, that's listen. Jesus, you know when people die for some reason, the name is hard for me to remember. I don't know why.
Because they're
But-
dead.
But it's not like Jesus.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Are you like Hugh? Just like take all my stuff, put it in the treasure chest, and drive.
I don't know, man.
Take a plane, go far deep in the sea, and just drop it.
Yeah, I go through I go through like emotional roller coasters. So that's a hard question
Cancer.
to answer. Yeah, I mean, it depends how I feel later on. If I have kids, I literally tweeted, when I die, if I don't have kids, burn everything that I made.
But what about your nieces and nephews?
No, fuck them.
So, because you know, I'm doing everything for my nieces and nephews. Like,
No,
Okay.
shit. I gave my nephew the other day $200 for graduating from junior high school, and I had to call him to tell me thank you.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So
I called him like 2 weeks. I was like, so I give you $200 and you don't.
You don't say nothing?
I'm sorry, I forgot. And I'm like, you know what?
too entitled. I'm good.
I'm
Burn
not sure.
all this shit.
I'm not
I
sure.
feel you now. Burn it. You're right. Burn it.
I'm not sure if
They don't appreciate it.
I'm not sure if the concept of like goals and just dreams like kind of dissipates a bit as you get older. But you're 44, so I was curious if you still have some goals for the Peralta Project.
Yeah.
And for yourself personally going forward at the end of 2019 and beyond.
I think that my second act in life. Yeah, I'm in my second.
You're
act.
not in your second act yet.
You don't think so?
No, you don't get to your second act till you're 50.
You still in your stride, brother.
Yeah, no. So in my second act, I'm hoping to like make movies and stuff.
I'm gonna say right now, I want to work with you to make movies.
I've been writing a script since I was 23.
Like either make
almost
movies.
done, so-
Like
I have a whole script done right now. Okay.
I'm hoping to like getting
I'm
into
on
a different medium. I like telling stories and stuff, so I think that I'll probably be doing something totally different. Hopefully.
I think
Don't
the world
steal
deserves
my
that.
idea, but I feel like, you know, because I'm a female Larry David, but I feel like I'm sitting next to a male Larry David.
Don't say your idea right now. on the podcast.
I'm not.
I fucked
ever?
up by doing that.
Yeah, I don't.
People have. It won't be a comedy though, even though I am.
She's not funny.
I'm gonna
so.
start making a comedy.
Hilarious.
I'm gonna start writing
Dark comedy, though.
One of
Not for
the
everybody.
scripts I want to write about is my dating life.
It's probably interesting as hell.
It's a comedy.
It's
a
gotta
comedy,
be.
though.
It's gotta be.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And
That's the worst.
we have a segment on this podcast where people called "Don't Sleep," or it's like we present an idea or a food or whatever people shouldn't sleep on. And I was curious. Well, we'll go around the table, so I'll start. I feel like people shouldn't sleep on the ego, and I have a story to go with that. So I don't know if people can see me through the videos. People who know me personally may have an idea of me, may think I'm passive, may think I'm weak, but I'm actually strong as fuck. So I was in the gym. I was doing leg day. I do leg day every Monday.
Don't skip leg day.
There was a dude next to me who I do the assistant squat because I pay attention to my back. I feel like my lower back isn't as strong at times, so I'm very paranoid about that. I want to fucking lose my back and shit, whatever. So I was doing the assistant squat. I was doing very, very heavy. And there was this dude next to me that I noticed who was trying to. I literally noticed him every time I did a set, and he did a set. He would look at me to see if I would go up or not, and he would watch me go up, so he would go up as well. And I went up. I kept going up and going up and going up, and he kept going up as well. I did my set successfully. He did his last set, and he fucking popped his knee.
Wow.
So. I don't know if that was directly like him trying to like compete with me, like the whole male ego shit.
That's a Seinfeld episode.
If that exists, if the male ego is a real thing, and if it was real,
it was a real thing.
If it was a real prevalent in his situation, I just want people to be aware of of your ego and just be aware enough to know what you can do and what you can't do. If you can't do a podcast, don't try to do your first episode. If you can't squat 345, don't try to squat 345. Just be aware and be self-aware and check your ego at the door.
Who is squatting 345? Like,
Me?
what the hell?
No, but seriously, just be aware because you could hurt yourself and you could disappoint yourself. You could disappoint other people. So I just ask and I beg and I just pray, just please be aware of what you can do. Don't try to act like you could do shit because you see other people doing it. You know what I mean? And because you could hurt yourself, you could disappoint yourself, you could lose your way, you could lose your vision, honestly. So just be aware, be self-aware, check yourself at the door, look yourself in the mirror, and acknowledge what you can and what you can't do because you will hurt yourself, you will disappoint yourself, you will disappoint others, and you can't squat more than me. I'm sorry, sir.
I was waiting for his ego to come out.
You popped your knee, my nigga. You ain't a nigga. You fucking whatever you are. So
my G.
Check your ego at the door, and my second dose sleep is I have a second one. I'm sorry. It's it was just added to Netflix. It's an anime called Evangelion. It's super psychological, super it's one of the greatest it's one of the greatest pieces of like art I've ever seen in my entire life. It's an animated television series, and plus there's 2 movies. It's super relatable. It's super It's super relatable. It's super personal, and I feel like people, if you watch the 26 episode series plus the 2 movies, I feel like you'll come out on the other side acknowledging a different appreciation for art and a different appreciation for yourself. So please go on Netflix and watch Evangelion. So Eleni, and CR, if you have some Don't Sleeps, please.
Yes, my name is Helena.
Lainey and Helena. If you have anything.
So 2 things. One, I would say don't sleep on therapy. I suggest it to everybody, have you been through something or you're going through something currently and you need somebody beyond yourself to just give you a fresh perspective, seek it out. I know it's not always in everybody's budget, but if you were wearing a pair of Jordans, you could afford therapy. You could afford at least one damn session. You know what I'm saying? So I just say definitely do that, and don't sleep on Jarrell Jerome. He played Corey Wise.
Yeah.
His performance was amazing.
What is this?
In the short
When They See Us.
When They See Us
Well,
about the
is
Central
that the boy
Park
who
5.
did Moonlight?
Yes, he did Moonlight. His performance was amazing, and
Jarrell is from Moonlight.
You didn't
He's
realize?
from Moonlight.
Yes, the
I'm
Moonlight.
like, the little Moonlight boy, we know he can act. He got a hand job on the beach kissing a nigga. Like,
Right.
we know
By
he
the
can
way,
act.
I own Moonlight on DVD. I never saw it yet.
What?
Watch it. It's a good movie.
I need to watch it, yo.
But shout out to Jarrell Jerome. His performance
He's
in
Dominican,
that
by the way.
short series.
Oh, he is?
Yes. Wow.
Shout
said
out
what?
to him.
He's Dominican.
Facts.
Oh,
Shout
for
out.
real?
From the Bronx.
I can
He's
tell by
from
his.
the Bronx.
Shout out to you from the
I can
Bronx,
tell by
okay?
his,
He
by
is-
his
he's
facial
Dominican,
features.
yeah, I did
I
read
can
that.
tell.
Got a little excited there. Like, I love my Bronx people.
But
going,
he
keep
was
going.
my favorite character. I respect him as an actor, and I think we're gonna see him in a lot more films.
No, we are.
Let us-
Definitely.
He's amazing.
Let us
Definitely.
pray.
He's amazing.
Shit, he better get
Him and the little
nominated for a
boy from
Golden Globe.
what's my little? That's not my Don't Sleep, but the little boy from The Get Down.
Oh, Justice Smith? The light skin
Get
dude with
down.
the Justice Smith?
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
who
Like-
did the paper towns and everything. I feel like he's gonna have a good future, and even Boo Nasty. I feel like he's gonna have a great future.
Is that your nickname?
know
Who
that.
is that? Who's Boo Nasty?
That's not my nickname, but
Oh.
it should be Boo Nasty. Yeah. But
Come
no,
on, y'all.
What is your Don't Sleep, Lainey?
my Don't Sleep is I actually don't have a Don't Sleep this week. All I want to tell people is be aware, just to piggyback off Jeff real quick off the ego. This is a really high planet week. Mercury retrograde's about to kick in again.
Oh, really?
And I just want
Oh,
people
fuck.
to
I
be
thought it was
aware.
already happening.
So this is the thing. This week feels like Mercury retrograde, but it's just Venus fucking with you right now and different planets. So it's just like Mercury retrograde is not even here yet, but this is a little taste of what's about to happen.
I'm scared.
The ego is really, if you've noticed all over the internet, like you see like little safari dramas and who's that Cam out here acting crazy. Like this is the ego. So it's just like
Camera?
people, when people come to confront you about certain things, watch your tone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. My mom used to always tell me you could catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. Why you want to catch bees, I do not know. But you catch more bees with honey than you do vinegar. So just watch how you talk to people. And when people talk to you, do not respond just to respond. Listen, use your comprehensive skills, and then reply. That's my Don't Sleep.
Sir, would you happen to have anything people should sleep on? It could be simple as your brand.
No, I was gonna say, don't sleep on helping somebody out. So like, you know, like right now when I just got off the train, somebody asked me for a swipe, and my swipe is not unlimited. So, but I try to anytime somebody asks me for a swipe, to give them a swipe. When somebody asks me for money, a person
I
of
feel
color,
you.
I always give them money. The other day, there was a moment where I was walking down the street and this man was like, "Excuse me, he had paperwork in his hand, and he was like, "Look, man, I'm not a bum, man. I just need to get home, you know." I was like, "How much money you need?" He was like, "Yo, I got $7." I gave him 20, and the man started crying. And when he started crying, I gave him a hug, right?
That's love.
That
But
is-
and it was one of these things that I never done before, right? But it's just like I try to always like whenever somebody asks me for money or whatever, man, I just give them money. I like,
See,
oh,
people,
whatever.
he's not problematic. He's not an asshole.
Word.
Got a good heart.
Sometimes.
And Raul, engineer, I promise we're about to get out of here, but I have to.
This guy, he's on a roll. It's
No,
Danny.
but I have to end with this because recently a YouTuber by the name
yeah.
of Desmond Mofa, aka Tika, he committed suicide, and that really affected me because he was 29 years old. I met him before. I actually recall the moment I met him. It was super random. He committed suicide. I don't know how long, but I guess this past few days or whatever, and his body was found. He was 29 years old, and I feel like I spoke about my relationship with suicide and mental health multiple times on this podcast, and his death just really affected me because, like, I literally created this podcast to help, and I met him, so I felt like, in a weird way, like the way I rationalized it in my head, I felt like it was meant for me to help him. I felt like I was meant to be there for him, but like I didn't know him that at all. But I wasn't there, so it really fucked me up mentally. It got me super depressed, and so please, like all our listeners, like if you've experienced any type of like depression, please invest in a therapist. Like, we've all spoken about our experiences with therapy and speaking with people. We've all spoken about our personal history with depression. Like, please just don't give up. Like, just don't take away your life, because you matter. Your energy matters. Like, you're necessary. You are meant to be here. Like, you deserve a chance at life. You deserve a chance at winning. So please, like, if you can use our stories and our experiences, even if you can use the experiences of people who have, like, taken their own life, like, please use it as, like, a catalyst to, like, maintain your existence and maintain, like, that energy to keep going, because it, like, suicide's, like, really affect me, and it affects the people around you, like your family and your friends. So, like, just don't give up. Like, I feel like we've had so many inspirational guests, like Tony, like whoever had on the show, who have been, like, prime examples of people who have made it by their determination and their will to keep going. So please don't give up. Suicide is not the answer, and just don't give up. So if you enjoy this podcast, wherever you indulge in this podcast, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, I think we're on Google Play. I'm honestly not sure, but I know we're on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. So whatever that rating system is, please utilize that.
And if you're suffering from suicide and you feel from depression, please reach out to somebody and speak to somebody. You're never alone, and always reach out to those around you.
You can email us at introvertedpod@yahoo.com. Email us, and if you want to come on the show and vent, like, you could do that. Like, I don't give a fuck who we have scheduled. You could come on. You could do that.
And last thing before we go, if you're really having serious thoughts about suicide, there's a National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. So just make sure you give them a call before you decide to end it.
Thank you for listening today. And thank you to our guests today. So much.
Please shout out where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can support you.
You could find me. You could go to the PeraltaProject.com. That's PERALTA project.com, and you can find me on social media at Peralta PRJCT.com. I mean PRJCT.
Hopefully you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, thank you. This was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All the information where you can find our guests will be in the bio. And again, utilize that rating system. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/introverted intuition.
Thanks for the Hennessy.
And I told you.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you?